Welcome back. I'm Patrick Dunham, the Clinical Programs Manager for Carillion Wellness. Today, I'm going to continue the video series on balance exercises. So we'll start off with a few static exercises and then move on to some dynamic balance work. So the first one is the Instep Hold. As everyone who's done the exercise testing or senior fitness test knows, we do this series of different holds, different steps, both eyes open and eyes closed. So the first one is going to be the Instep Hold. I'll show it from the front and I'll show it from the side as well. Most of you are familiar with this. Something you do want to remember, you don't want to, when you're doing dynamic balance, you want to move your hips to control your body. So that core strength that we work on with all these other exercises is going to help you during your dynamic balance. You don't want to shift your knees as much. You want to use your hips as if you were surfing or skateboarding or on a balance board. We'll start off here with the static and move into the dynamic. First one here with that Instep Hold, we're going to do both legs. First foot, I'm going to take half a step forward so that my opposite foot, my toes end up in the middle of my foot. So this is what it looks like from the front to the side. I'm going to put my right foot forward, take my left foot and put it on the instep. Make sure I'm standing nice and tall here. My chest is up, shoulders back, head forward. And from here, I'm also squeezing my glutes. So you want to squeeze your butt, get full hip extension here. And you're going to hold this for 10 seconds. You can put your arms out to the side if you need to balance. If you need to have something close by that you can hold on to, that's also fine, or to catch yourself. If this is too easy, feel free to close your eyes. You can close your eyes and have something to hold on to if you need to. If you feel like you're going to start losing your balance, simply open your eyes. So from here, I'm in that instep position. My hands resting comfortably by my side if I'm able to, in that good position. And then from here, I'm going to hold this for 10 seconds. Once the 10 seconds are up, I prefer switching feet so I can get one foot at a time. And what that will look like, I will simply take my left foot and I'm going to slide it up so the toes on my right foot are right in the middle of my left. So from the front, I'll switch and simply bring my left foot up. Same thing here. It's easier if you have some kind of tape or a sticky note you can put on the wall about eye level. That way you can focus on that while you're working on your balance. Again, if this is too easy, feel free to close your eyes during the 10 seconds here. 10 seconds is too short. You feel like you can go longer, even with eyes closed, feel free to do that also. You can see I am wearing shoes. That adds to the stability. So it's a little bit easier than if I were barefoot. If all these are too easy, if you want to do this barefoot, you're gonna feel all those muscles in your feet contracting. You may feel a bit more fatigue, but it's something to work towards. So that's the first exercise, the Instep Balance Hold. From here, we're gonna do the heel to toe balance exercise. So that's like the tightrope, like you're walking on a tightrope. One foot is going to be in front of the other, and I'm going to imagine that I'm standing. If you have a 2x4 or a board around the house that you can step on with both feet, that's a good way to determine whether you are directly have both feet in line. So from here, I can keep my legs slightly bent. Again, I'm squeezing my glutes to maintain this position. And then once 10 seconds is up, I'm going to bring my right foot forward and move to here. And again, I'm just going to hold this for 10 seconds. If you need to take a break, if you feel off balance, you can rest for a couple seconds and then go and complete the total of 10 seconds. So we're going to do each one of these balance exercises 3 sets. So if you prefer doing 3 sets on the right and 3 sets on the left, that's fine. If you like to switch back and forth, that's also perfectly fine to do. The third exercise here is the front step quarter lunge. So I'm going to step as if I were stepping forward, a little bit larger of a step, and I am going to keep a narrow stance, and I'm going to bend my knee slightly. So I'm going to be in almost a quarter squat position with that front leg. From here, I'm maintaining that upright posture. If you have someone that can watch you, that's also helpful. You can even have a yardstick behind you to make sure that your torso is in a straight line. Once I finish that up on that side for 3 sets, I can go ahead and move on to the left side. Notice how the wider I get, the easier it's going to be to hold myself in that balanced position. The closer together, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So you can really adjust this exercise to the level of difficulty that suits you best. I'm going to come out to the side next with my right foot, again in that quarter squat position. I'm going to stay upright with my torso looking forward. I'm going to hold that for 10 seconds here. And then I'm going to rest. I can then switch after 3 sets and move to the left side. And I am trying to keep my knee over top of my feet, over my toes. I don't want my knee caving in, and I don't want it going past my toes, especially if you have any knee pain or issues with your knee, you're going to feel that. So by doing that, I'm keeping my hips back just a little bit. From the side, it looks like this. Same position as a lateral lunge or side lunge. Keep my hips back. And once I'm done, I'm going to stand up and switch sides. Next one is going to be the reverse lunge. So we're working our way around, and this will help us in the next few exercises because we'll switch over to a dynamic balance workout routine. I'm going to do that reverse lunge. I'm going to hold it in this position. Again, my front foot planted firmly in the ground. It's straight forward. I'm not turning that in or turning it out. Keeping that straight forward. That rear leg, I'm trying to keep it flat on the ground, and I'm also engaging the glutes. So I'm not keeping a loose core. I'm tightening up. I should feel a stretch even in the calf muscle. Also, my hip should be stretched completely. From here, also, if I go a little bit more narrow, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You just have to gauge and see what works best for you. So once I do my right side for the front side and then reverse, I'm going to switch and then go ahead and do the left side here. So left side, in that quarter lunge position, holding this for 10 seconds. Out to the side. If you're having difficulty with this out to the side, you can meet in the middle and do an angle, like a 45-degree angle, and that will help with your balance. That's a little bit easier than straight out to the side. Once that's done, I'll finish up with that reverse static balance hold. Again, keep checking on my knee. That's in a good spot. Foot is pointed forward. Chest is up, and hold this position. Once I've completed that, I'm going to move into the dynamic holds of those last 3 positions that we did. So these are going to be touches. I'm going to simply touch the ground with that foot and then bring it back in. I'm not holding it in that position like we just did. This is going to be dynamic, so we're moving. Just like the dynamic warm-up, we're not holding a certain position, we're moving and engaging those muscles. So forward, I'm going to touch forward, bring my foot back to the starting position. I'm going to touch out to the side, so I'm reaching. My torso staying, for the most part, in the same position during all of this. And then to the rear. Again, if you have athletic tape painter's tape that you can use. You can actually put targets on the ground for you to touch your toes to. Just like that on the wall, marking the wall with that tape, you can mark the ground where you feel comfortable reaching out to. So again, I'm going to do 10 times in each position. Returning back to the center each time. When I return to the center, I want to make sure my foot stays planted firmly into the ground. If you have issues with freezing, you can use this as a means to help with your freezing. If there's certain cues that work best for you, think about those or have those in place before trying this dynamic balance exercise. So about halfway done here. Just like the previous videos, I want to keep my core tight. So imagine that there's a bowling ball or a medicine ball that someone threw and it's coming right towards my stomach and I'm bracing for it. And once you've completed 10 on the right side, we can go ahead and move to the left side. You can start feeling the muscles in your feet, getting a little tired, maybe burning a little bit, so you can rest if you need to. Touching on the ground. If you have those markers, aiming for those markers. And coming back to the center every single time. By coming back to the center every time, you're working not just on your glutes, you're working on that full hip extension. Sometimes we tend to stand and not have full hip extension. You might stand and the hips are flexed. If you have back pain, if you have a lot of tightness, that's going to make it a lot worse. It's like being seated for a long period of time. So make sure after every step, standing upright, touching and coming back to the center. And once you've completed that, you can take a rest. The typical work to rest ratio is 1 to 2. So what that means, if I just spent 30 seconds working on the first exercise, the first balance exercise, I would prefer taking about a minute rest before moving on to the next one. That's what the 1 to 2 work to rest ratio is. If you took a minute to do exercise 5 or 6, you want to rest for 2 minutes before moving on to the next one. This will allow your muscles enough time to recover if you are feeling fatigued before moving on to the next one. Again, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll keep those notes in the bottom, and we'll add some more balance exercises, some more static and dynamic, and add some leg workouts as well. But we'll continue pushing these videos out to you.